Oh my goodness. Case of a brand new microphone, because if you've been with me for a couple months, you know that it's been a struggle bus to find a mic that works for me. We're going to go with this and see how it is. I like the versatility. I like that it's pink. Anyway, I read Her Night at the Museum by Bryn Donovan. This is a light, sweet rom-com. If you like to suspend your disbelief in a Christmas Hallmark movie where a snowman comes to life, but you're sick of Christmas already, look no further. This is exactly that kind of story. Emily is an art restorer at the Art Institute in Chicago, and she has been given a statue to work on. And oh my gosh, the statue comes to life. His name is Griffin. He was cursed by a warlock sorcerer friend. And then everything that you think would happen when a knight comes to life happens. They are sweet. He is confused. She teaches him. She brings him under her wing. It's very Kate and Leopold, but if Leopold had armor and not just a really cool blue coat from the 1800s. This book honestly was spicier-ish than I thought it was going to be. They hook up in a dream state, and then Emily kind of backs off and goes, oh my gosh, when you're real, I can't hook up with you because you think you're in love with me, but you're just really confused. I enjoyed the challenges that Griffin faced in this world. I love that it was in Chicago. Yeah, sorry, it's my home. It's where I am. I'm always going to get a kick out of it. And that the geography of Chicago was pretty accurate. I felt all the things about where they were and how they were getting there that you're supposed to feel when it's accurate to the actual geography of where you are. This definitely sits in the rom-com world. It is light, it is easy, and while there are certainly dire circumstances, Griffin is undocumented, he has no idea what's going on. Emily is accused of theft because the statue she was working on is suddenly gone. But between the two of them, it feels really light, easy, and sweet. I enjoyed it. This is Bryn's first novel, and I think she hit it out of the park. Griffin is very liberal with the nicknames, and he dispenses a variety of them, from my sweet bird to my cinnamon, and I found that really adorable, especially because none of it was baby, which y'all know I have strong feelings about. One of the moments that made me laugh so hard, because I too have never thought about this, is he's in the real world and she goes, oh my gosh, vaccines. Yes, if you just became alive in this day and age from hundreds of years ago, number one, you have none of our vaccines. You have no idea what bugs are crawling in us and if you can handle them. And number two, we probably have no idea what bugs are crawling in you and if we can handle them. And that moment of, oh, science is real and it's happening in the here and now was just an extra detail that I found really charming. Griffin is sweet, and while there are miscommunications between the two of them, it felt more understandable because there's such a big cultural difference between the two. Words are different, jobs are different, gender roles are different. And so the misunderstandings, they didn't feel contrived. They felt realistic for these two people in their given set of circumstances. So way to make me like a miscommunication trope. Yeah, I did. I told you I was gonna keep going, and I kept going with Darn It All by Evie Mitchell, which is the third book in the All Access series. It's the last book that was published. It came out this fall. This book is about Mai and Theo. Mai is another one of the friend group. Theo, if you didn't read Love Flushed, lost the lower part of a leg of his right leg in a car accident when he was a teenager, when he was in high school. It was a big part of the drama of Love Flushed, is the care that he required and manipulations around that. We watch Theo in this book live with his leg when he's sore, when the prosthetic is aching, when he needs a crutch, when he needs accessible bathrooms in a hotel stay, and when he's in pain and the pain that he goes through because of this lost limb. Mai suffers from severe anxiety, and the two of them throughout this book, or at the beginning of the book, we watch them become friends over the years. It actually starts in the time frame of Frankie's story, the first book, and we get these text exchanges and little stories between them all the way into the here and now. Mai is a clothing designer primarily, and she's in a rut. She's not doing anything exciting. She's not moving her life forward. Theo is in a dating rut. He's been working at this company that's not necessarily his passion with his brother and now Annie, but he does it and he's good at it, but it doesn't spark joy in him either. Because of their friendship, Theo signs Mai up for what is essentially a fashion design reality TV show, and she gets in. Unfortunately, the season he signs her up for is a couple season, so they fake date to go on the show together. Only problem is Theo can't sew at all. And so they are in this forced proximity. They're staying in a hotel room together. They're competing in these challenges together. And they have to fake this relationship between the two of them, which ultimately opens up these feelings that both of them have been hiding. Understandably, Mai is also demisexual. For her, there needs to be deep emotional connection before she feels sexual attraction. So for her, dating is slow. It's not instantaneous. There's no insta lust, insta love. But because she's built this friendship with Theo over years, she's unknowingly gotten through that getting to know you stage and has developed a crush on him. So those feelings are understandable at this point in the relationship where they wouldn't have been if this story started 2, 3 years ago. As with the rest of this All Access series, I love the way that Evie Mitchell is handling these various disabilities that these humans have. The prosthetic leg that Theo has and how he has to navigate the world, and Mai's not only demisexuality, but also anxiety. And how does she find coping mechanisms? How does Theo support her? And that at the end of the day, both of them are humans living with these things and they move through their life together. That is so much fun. In terms of the narrator, I I'm not gonna say which one. There was one narrator who I didn't love. I felt like they used narrator voice the whole time, even in dialogue, and it just threw because it didn't feel like a human was talking, and that threw me. But like with Not My Type and Love Flushed is a very quick listen, very quick read, so I didn't have to sit through it for very long. I'm honestly just sad that I don't know when the next book is coming out because I want it. Oh man, it was such a good ending to this series, and it made me so mad that it's the end of this series. This was A Tropical Rebel Gets the Duke by Adriana Herrera. It is the third book in the La Leona's trilogy. Can't we get another one? There was a little sister. Why can't we get another one? But anyway, the La Leonas, this is the third friend, Aurora, her story, her relationship with Apollo, who we meet in the first book. He is Evan's brother and a huge part of the plot from A Caribbean Heiress in Paris. And they have a little bit of a contrary spark. They don't like each other at the beginning in that book. And we see them kind of go at it in book number 2. An island princess starts a scandal. This story starts off with a bang, kind of literally, and I'm not ruining for you. And while you might think that starting off with a tryst would lose the tension and lose that ooey gooey goodness, no, it actually just builds it up. Aurora is an heiress, and at the beginning of the story, she has been cut off from her family and she can no longer use her trust to fund the medical work she does in Paris. She is a doctor, she sees primarily women, she supports procedures that are not legal, that are not legal in some places in the US now, and other various medical things that might not be on the up and up. A woman wants something done, or a woman needs to see a doctor, and her husband's saying no, she'll go and sneak to see Aurora and her coworkers. In this frustration, she says, I need to let off some steam, and she goes to Apollo and says, all right, one night, sir, you get to make me forget about everything. I'm going to take my power back. And that opens up the tension that they'd been pushing down. They'd been snipping and snapping at each other whenever they saw one another. But no, it actually opens it up. And Apollo goes, I want some more. And Aurora goes, I can't resist. And so we see them be drawn and then push away and drawn and push away. And the more that they allow themselves the intimacies of just time together, they seek each other out for, yes, an intimate time, but also just time, we see their relationship build. And both of them have very set ideas of what they want to do with their life. Aurora is going to be a doctor. She's going to do this kind of work here. She has a lot of baggage from her family and from her heritage, which I won't spoil for you. And Apollo, we know his heritage from a Caribbean heiress in Paris. He is the legitimate son of this duke who was cast aside. His mother was left after she died in childbirth with him, and he was raised by this family in the Americas. He is Black, Aurora is Black. Both of them talk about the racism that they deal with, and Aurora also the sexism that she deals with. Apollo believes that his next step is to face the British aristocracy by joining the House of Lords and kind of shoving it in their face that a Black man is now one of them. And to do that, he feels he needs a proper wife, someone who will be the Duchess, that will allow him into the spheres of influence he feels he deserves and he wants to shake up in England. And Aurora does not fit that. She is not that kind of woman, but it doesn't mean she's the wrong kind of woman. So both of them throughout this story have to reevaluate what it is that they want from their life and how are they going to go about getting it? What is possible? For Aurora especially, she's had this set idea of what are women capable of and what is the world going to give us? And she finds over the course of this story that there are loopholes, that there are people doing good work to allow and create spaces for women that she didn't know were possible. And I loved it. It was such a satisfying end to this trilogy. And I am truly sad that it's over. I will champion Adriana Herrera for also doing an incredible job with her research. And this is not a fictional story. Yes, this story is fictional, but these types of people were not fictional. There were female doctors at this time. There were doctors of color who were also female. There were people championing these causes and enacting this change at that time. There were queer, there were POC. And their history has been almost erased. So the fact that she used so much research, and it's in the back of the book, so you can go and find the resources she used, and is championing these stories, bringing them back into the light, I think is incredible. Well, that ended. Oh man. Tale of the Heart Queen, which is book 4 in the Artifacts of Oranos series by Nisha J. Tooley. I am so sad and happy that it's over because that was a wild ride. 4 books, ma'am, 4 books, and you absolutely left us on a cliffhanger at the end of book 3. So the fact that I waited until book 4 was just out to read it, I'm very happy that I did that. I feel terrible for anyone who had to wait months between the two of them. This is the conclusion. So if you haven't read Trial of the Sun Queen, Rule of the Aurora King, Fate of the Sun King, there are going to be lots and lots of spoilers. Sorry, not sorry. It's book 4, y'all. Lore thinks she's killed Nadir and is praying to Zara the goddess for help. She is brought up to the evanescence, the kind of beyond space, and Zara essentially holds Nadir hostage and says, I'll heal him if you get these arcs for me. I need you to go and steal them from the other kingdoms. And then it's quest after quest after quest. This book was so many side quests in order to achieve the goal. And normally with something like that, you just think, I'm so confused, I'm so overwhelmed, what's happening? Why can't we just get from point A to point B? And I never actually felt like that. It felt cohesive, it felt clear. I understood what was happening along the way. Part of it, I believe, is because we got these set points of view. So everything that was happening in the Sun Kingdom Aphelion was mainly through Gabriel's point of view. We got a lot of that through him, and therefore it never felt like, even though Laura was there, it wasn't her point of view that we were getting sucked into. It was Gabriel, and how do we build that lore? We got the questing, the arcs, the Aurora King, all of those kinds of next steps. Now the answer is, was Nadir dead? Is no, he was not. He was healed. Zara healed him. And then Laura and Nadir are just gonna fight to get back to each other because they're mates. And they do, and it's beautiful. And all they want is to just live this life together and be there for each other. One very specific thing I want to draw attention to is the difference between Nadir and Wolf. We get a little bit more on how the world was broken from Laura's grandmother, and Wolf always seemed to just go along with whatever, like, she wanted. Like, she never stopped and said, "Is this a good idea?" And Nadir is a much more active partner, and even though he supports Laura fully, he doesn't allow himself to be trampled. And it could be that Laura's not crazy, but their relationship, while it almost looks the same in some ways, they're both fated, they're both primaries, they have to go through these rituals and take these extra steps. The relationship feels more solid and more even than Wolf just going along from before. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why it failed so epically, and why Nadir and Lore are just one for the ages. They get each other, they love each other, they have wounds and they heal, and they share their scars with one another. They don't match, they don't always get it, but they're always there to support the other. And having them get their HEA and really earn what they fought so hard for was great. I even liked the way that she ended the battle, or the back and forth with the Aurora King. With a villain of that magnitude, it can feel overwhelming. How are we going to do this? And I think she captured a moment of humanity or two. There's no forgiveness. You don't forgive someone who is that horrible, but the conclusion that he had, I felt was earned, and I feel satisfied with it. And that's really what I feel like at the end. I feel satisfied with this ending, but I also have a little bit of hope that we're going to get another story, because Gabriel, I feel like he is just getting started. I love a good Christmas novella that has nothing to do with Christmas and everything to do with some fated mates. Yeah, that's what I said. Fated mates at Christmas time. It is Her Very Sexy Christmas by Theodora Taylor, and it takes place at Christmas time, but there is no Christmas, which is kind of my favorite kind of Christmas novella. Noel, perfect name. Perfect name for a Christmas novella that has nothing to do with Christmas, has just had the worst news of her life. Her boyfriend was cheating on her. She broke up with him, and he retaliated by getting her suspended from her job. So she, jobless, homeless, because they live together, is heading to her sister's in Vancouver, driving through the mountains. In the mountains, there is snow. She hits the snow. She falls into a snowbank, drives into a snowbank, ends up in a snowbank, and instead of dying of hypothermia, is saved by a super sexy bear shift in this community. And I'm so excited. Y'all, I have to say, if you go to the internets, this says book one in this mountain series. I want more. I want more of these bear shifters. So these bear shifters form what they call mulls, which is groups of 3 or more, usually male bears, sometimes female bears. Their story is very queer friendly, but this is not a queer story. But these mulls, these groups that tend to have a mate, and the 3 bears focus on their mate. Cody is in bear form, and he finds her and smells her and accidentally marks her and turns her into a bear shifter. And so when his 2 mall bear friends, the 2 other people in the mall, come home and they smell this new female bear shifter, they're like, what is, they don't know what's going on. They just look at her and go, "What did you do, Cody? What did you do?" The other 2 bears are very confused. Noelle wakes up naked, very confused, and goes immediately into estrus, which is bear heat. And Mac freaks out and goes, "No, I can't do it. She doesn't understand what being marked is. I'm not going to mark her. I have my own history." And then they figure it out. She's in estrus. It's so fun. It's exactly what I wanted. It's fated mates, but it's also communication. It's very healing. They are so kind to her. She asks to help cook, and they're like, "No, what are you talking about? How dare you? Female bear shifters don't do anything during estrus. We will wait on you hand and foot." It's cute. It's quick, or it feels very low, quick stakes amongst the 4 of them. Noelle, yeah, she's running away from her terrible ex-boyfriend, but she's going to her sister. She's not without options. She's not in dire straits. These men are not about to die without their mate. They're sad, they're lonely, but the three of them work well together. There's no worry of the three of them separating or anything of that nature. It's just people finding each other and having the insta connection is then built up by the actual connection. Sometimes I love insta love. Insta love is great and amazing and wonderful, but unless you have an actual connection to back it up, it will fizzle, it will fade. And the thing that Theodora Taylor did really well with is building an actual connection between the four of them and a genuine like amongst the four of them. This says book one. Book one. I want more. Please, sir, I want some more. But there's no other mention of Christmas. Perfect.